Hello, everyone. I'm going to talk about the number four thing I like to send my money for savings and for the future. Now, this is an annual report for the American Balance Fund, and it goes through and tells you what it's done. This is a few years old, from 2017, but it tells you generally what it invests in and all this other stuff. And it gives you a letter telling you how it did this, tells you how it would have done over time, and then it goes through and tells you all the stuff that is invested in. And this particular fund is one that's about 70% stocks and 30% bonds. It varies over time, but is one of the bigger companies out there and one of the bigger funds. Now, if a lot of people go with these target date ones, and American Funds has their own too. It's Target Date Retirement Series, and it's kind of the same thing, but there's different years. You just pick the year closest to what you expect to retire, and then it goes through and tells you what they're invested in. Now, most of these target funds are ones that have funds from the fund family. If it's American Funds, they pick a bunch of different American Funds things. Again, all these things have this right here. Pull this up, what they call a glide path. Early on, the further away from retirement, you got a lot of growth funds and a lot of growth and income funds. Then you get into balance and then fixed. They go more towards the fixed as it gets closer to your retirement. But anyway, they also usually send you some kind of prospectus that tells you a little bit about how it will invest. But all this stuff is stuff that I'm talking about because I had a car that I bought with payments several years ago. When I paid it off, I took the amount I was paying per month and started putting most, if not all of it, into a Roth IRA for 4 years or so. And then things happened and I got away from it for a while. But I haven't kept it. It's just sitting there making money. Now, the other thing, which kind of goes along with this, is life insurance. I know everybody hates life insurance, and a lot of people will buy term life insurance. The only real problem with term life insurance, if you pick, say, 20-year term, you're young, healthy, no big health problems. At the end of 20 years, that life insurance goes away because it's only for 20 years. Or you can buy like whole life insurance. Most people hate it because they say it's a bad investment. And in many ways it is. It's really not an investment. The only good thing about whole life is that when you buy it, as long as you make the payments on your premiums, you don't lose your insurance at 20 years or 30 years. It's there. So in 20 years, your health may not be very good, and you may need life insurance and be told that even term, which was usually cheaper because you have health problems, is now not going to be so cheap. And there may even be some companies that won't insure you at that point. So it's always a good idea, in my opinion, as long as you don't put very much money to it, you can get a pretty decent life insurance, whole life insurance policy, and not probably pay more than about $30 or $40 a month and have a decent amount of coverage. Now, if you feel like you need a lot more coverage, it'll cost you more, like everything else. But this, between my Roth IRA and my whole life insurance, I consider them kind of the same thing for the same purposes. They are something that you need to have, or you should want to have anyway. The insurance to protect your family and anybody that depends on you for your income to live like kids, wife, whatever. And then this is for you for when you retire. But I still think this is very important stuff. In fact, I consider it even more important than having an emergency fund because I put more money to this than what I have in my emergency fund. I'm going to cut this off right here, and then maybe next week I'll film number 3.